Hey, so I just got back from seeing the movie here. I'm gonna stop shaking the camera by just putting it down. Hey, so I just got back from seeing Ad Astra. Uh, I really liked it to start off. Definitely the best PG-13 movie I've seen this year, and this video might be dated depending on when you're watching it. So, to give context, it is 2019 when this movie came out to the theater, and that's where I watched it. So, just to give context. And this was also my first exposure to the teaser trailer for Tenet, which had, at the time of this recording, not been released to the internet yet. So that was really surprising to see that in the theater. And both were fantastic. I saw it with my brother, one of his friends. All of us gave it 9 out of 10s. All right, so if you just came here to see what I gave out of 10, there you go. I know that audiences were mixed on this to say the least at the current moment, but critics loved it. I'm definitely in the loved it camp. The first thing that'll pop out to everyone is the visuals. It's extremely colorful and well cinematographed. There's so much good cinematography in here. It's beautiful to look at. It's so well shot. Uh, they did something smart, which is one of the earlier scenes has a couple of shots from the perspective of the main character. So it really puts you into that moment, which helps you put yourself into each moment with them throughout the rest of the movie, which I thought was really clever. 'Cause, anyways, that's how I personally felt. It might not feel that way to everyone, but that's just what I thought. Uh, if you're going in for like any of the supporting actors, know that not a lot of screen time for any of them here. It's kind of just Brad Pitt's movie for this runtime. Like you get a bit of the supporting cast in each act, but then they're kind of just disappear in the other two acts altogether. Like Tommy Lee Jones is barely in it, and he's second build, so that tells you like how much everyone's in it. Uh yeah, I really liked it. I was told that was extremely slow paced and like a slow burn and stuff like that, which I wholeheartedly disagree with. Just because there's downtime in between the action sequences does not make it slow paced. It just gives you a chance to catch your breath before the next big thing happens. And sure, there isn't any action in the third act of the movie, which might be the main reason why people say it's slow, but there was more than enough in the first two acts to justify that, in my opinion. Yeah, the visuals just stand out so much, and I was just so drawn into it. I did have a headache while I was watching the movie, not from the movie itself, but from beforehand. So it was kind of hard for me to focus on the story and dialogue, and I got a little too swept away by the visuals. So it was kind of hard for me to follow the story and dialogue. That and it kind of felt like everyone was soft spoken, but I it was still like the audio levels were still good enough that I felt like I should have been comprehending, but the headache just got in the way of that. So while I would complain about the dialogue, I really shouldn't, because it's so objective that the next time I watch the movie where I could properly evaluate it, uh, I would uh, I would let you know whether or not it's too soft spoken or if it was just the headache this one time. But I don't know. Just signing up for consideration. Uh, what else? The sound levels, like I said, were really well balanced. Whenever something loud happened, like when it should be loud, it shook the theater seats, which also helped immerse you into the scenes, like I was talking about with the opening scene. So I really liked that. It was really well edited. There were a lot of really clever just shots. I'm mostly talking about the cinematography because it's so worth the price of admission alone, let alone everything else. The story is a little by the numbers, though I could see it causing people to be disappointed by its ending, but I personally wasn't. Yeah, Brad Pitt gives a really good, like, restrained performance. Like, he tries to keep things stoic in public, but you can just see in his face while he's simultaneously trying to hide it. You can tell when things are really starting to get to him and he's losing his composure. Uh, So I really liked how interesting that performance was. Like he wasn't extremely verbal, which the narration aspect really helped with like understanding his character and all that. But yeah, I definitely really liked basically everything about it. The only complaints I have are extremely minor, like nitpicks basically. Like the ending was not great, but I was expecting a way worse ending, especially because of audience reception. I was like, oh, it's gonna be another High Life where it's fantastic, and then the ending's just like easily the worst part of the movie. But no, I wouldn't say that about this one. This was better than High Life. It also reminded me a lot of Interstellar, Solaris. I've only seen the George Clooney version, by the way. And what was the last one? High Life, Interstellar, Solaris. That might have been it. Yeah, I just overall really enjoyed it. I'd really recommend it. It's kind of genre, I don't know what to say. You can't define it as one genre because it kind of goes through many. It's simultaneously sci-fi, psychological thriller, action, art house, and drama. So it has a lot of different things going on. It kind of felt like an indie movie in a lot of ways, but it was a really one with a really big budget, like big budget. I felt like it was a Searchlight movie that was given way more than a Searchlight movie's budget would be, or like an A24 movie because it's just so colorful and sophisticated and fascinating. But yeah, I wasn't bored. I thought it was really well paced. It was briskly paced at different points, and then sometimes it eased off on the pedals at other moments to help you kind of catch your breath so that it doesn't become too overwhelming. So I thought it was perfectly paced in that regard. Uh, it's the first time I watched the movie, so anytime I watch a movie for the first time, unless it's like one of my all time favorites, I acknowledge the length of it, but the length didn't really bother me. It's just I watched a movie that was like 70 minutes right beforehand, so it felt a little long, even though it's just barely over 2 hours. This was one of the movies that I really wanted to see this month. There were five movies this month that I really wanted to see. This is the only one I think I'll get the chance to see. I'm really glad that I did because the theater experience really just wowed me. And when I saw the trailers, I thought that it was just gonna be one that I would like rent on DVD or whatever, or wait for DVD to see because I wasn't uber interested in it. But oh boy, was I wrong. I was surprised just how much I loved it. The color schemes in some of the shots remind me a lot of Blade Runner 2049. That was the other movie I was forgetting. There were even specific shots that I felt like were callbacks to that movie, like especially on Mars and stuff like that. Uh, what else? There's other stuff that I'm not picking apart. Oh, this is spoiler free, by the way, so I won't explain why I feel people will be might be disappointed by the ending. So I will not go into that. The Tenet trailer that played beforehand, everyone was freaking out about in the movie theater because they're like, "Oh crap, it's Tenet!" So that was kind of fun. I really liked that trailer, and yes, I'm still very fascinated to see the whole movie. But back to Ad Astra. Yeah, I just thought it was great. The other movies this month that I'm missing out on, sadly, but really want to watch are It Chapter 2, The Goldfinch, Villains, and what's the other one? I don't remember what the other ones are. But this is a really packed fall because I'm also excited for October 4th when Joker and Lucy in the Sky come out. Yet another 20th Century Fox space movie. And even if Lucy in the Sky ends up being poorly received, I mostly want to see it because I love Noah Hawley's other stuff. Like Legion and Fargo are two of the best TV shows out there, in my opinion. So I'm really excited for that. But I'm getting really off topic. Ad Astra, I can't attest to its writing because I had headaches. So it's hard to follow the dialogue, but I thought it was really well directed. Yeah, there were some really cool and creative shots. especially line things up and then find creative angles to do things. And it was surprisingly tense when I wanted it to be, and dramatically palpable when I wanted it to be. And yeah, I don't have many complaints. I think I'm running out of things to say, so I'll probably stop here. I gave it a 9 out of 10. There isn't much wrong with it, like, at all, and I'd highly recommend seeing it. Uh, I know that audiences have really liked The Goldfinch, and I was hoping to see that one instead, but I didn't. Because I wanted to have A, I was more interested in that one, but B, I know that there aren't really any reviews up on YouTube for Goldfinch, and that was one I'd really been wanting to see since the first trailer dropped, even though I hadn't read the book or anything like that, and I thought it would be an interesting one to see. But I guess I'll just have to wait for DVD on that one like everyone else. But I feel bad that it's really low at the box office, so I feel like I should give that one a little bit of attention in this video, and just mention that audiences are liking it so far. So yeah, because this one audiences are mixed on. Yeah. Really liked it though. Highly recommend it. If you want like another space movie with like an experience, if you don't mind like really colorful, dazzling visuals and not a ton of action, because it's not a straight up action movie. There's only a few action sequences, but they're strategically placed so that you don't necessarily get bored, or at least I didn't. And yeah, so if you like space movies, and you like sci-fi and stuff like that, if you think this one might be for you, it probably will be. I mean, there's several clips on YouTube you can watch from the movie and trailers, and that would probably be a good gauge. Just know that I watched all the clips and trailers, and I was only like a little bit interested in it, but then when I saw the actual movie, I was pleasantly surprised. So I'd say give it a shot, even if you're not sure if you're interested. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the review, and hope you enjoy the movie if you go see it. Thanks for watching this review. Sorry that I droned on for so long, and have a good rest of your day. Bye!